What's going on everyone, Septic here, and welcome back to another Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes video. It's been almost a month since I last made a video on the game, and as of recording this video 2 days ago, April 12th, Nintendo just randomly uploaded to the channel a new trailer for the game. With this new trailer, we got a lot of juicy details to talk about, but there's still a lot that we really don't know about that we're going to be speculating on a little bit. So let's just jump right into it. So let's start off with our newest character here, Shez, aka Purple Guy. Shez will be our new protagonist for this game, which definitely shocked many people. The original trailer was focused more on BYLETH than it was on the new purple-haired guy. So many people just assumed that BYLETH would be once again a professor, you know, your typical role that BYLETH filled in Three Houses. But it's kind of interesting how this trailer is the opposite now, showcasing how Shez is going to be our new protagonist while it seems like BYLETH will be our antagonist. Pretty crazy how a trailer can make us believe one thing and then turn it around our heads to make us believe another. It's honestly crazy to believe that BYLETH would be our antagonist, and it could be true. Let me read you this excerpt here. We got some details on how Shez met BYLETH. Shez meets BYLETH during Imperial Year 1179, which is 1 year before the events of Three Houses. Shez loses the battle to BYLETH, and BYLETH goes to kill Shez, but at some point this new god by the name of Arvel, they end up saving Shez. From what the trailer also said is that Shez was meant to just fade away. Shez was pretty much just meant to phase away from history. More than likely Shez's death happened in the canon of Three Houses, but with Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes, something changes that causes Shez to stay alive. And now for the last part of the excerpt that I haven't mentioned, Shez was training to one day rematch BYLETH, but at one point he stumbles upon the three house leaders being chased by bandits in the woods. So that begs the question, what changes here? Like, because of Shez's existence, BYLETH no longer meets the three house leaders, and he doesn't get involved as a professor. But again, that's what we're all thinking, because we really don't know. That's what it seems like they're telling us. And it would make sense as well, because in the first trailer, if you guys remember, BYLETH did not have their blue hair at one point in the trailer. At a certain point, BYLETH will awaken to Sothis' power in order to fight Shez. Also, they don't have the Sword of the Creator, which, as we all know, by the time BYLETH has the green hair, they already have the Sword of the Creator with them. It's definitely interesting to see where they're going to be taking this story. And there's a lot of theories going around with it, and one of the theories I've seen people say is that this could be a similar situation to Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse. Spoiler warning for those who haven't played the game, but from what I can recall, in SMT4 Apocalypse, there is a new character in the game, and with that character, the story drastically changes. And I believe that Flynn basically becomes an antagonist. Maybe with Shez's existence, BYLETH will pretty much no longer gain any emotions and all that stuff, and will stay a silent, cold killer, and will pretty much just be evil. Now, I wouldn't say evil per se, but more just like protecting themselves. I feel like there's definitely more to the story than meets the eye, and I possibly wouldn't even be surprised if BYLETH ended up time traveling in order to like prevent the war that would happen in Three Houses. We really don't know. Let's continue on with the trailer. So with Shez being our new protagonist, a lot of people thought that we would have been playing as a male character for this game. However, just like Three Houses, you'll be able to choose Shez's gender, and Shez's name will be able to be changed in the game, so we're more than likely not going to be hearing these characters call the character Shez. Followed by that, we're then revealed that this game will have 3 different paths again. One focused on the Black Eagles, one focused on Blue Lions, and the other one focused on Golden Deer. So we might as well just say Edelgard's path, Dimitri's path, and Claude's path. How different will these paths be from the others? Who knows? Because there's a lot of stuff in this trailer that shows the house leaders teaming up together in certain fights. Like in the first trailer, we saw Dimitri and Claude's back together in order to take down some enemies. Another part here in this new trailer, we see Dimitri watching Edelgard charge towards someone. We don't know who. So I feel like this is going to be more of like a quote-unquote golden route where they all team up together, but more so in the fact that in terms of like the paths that you choose, it'll just be slightly different on who joins you and everything like that and the interactions. But I feel like the outcome will still be the same and that we're going to be getting this like team up from these guys. But that's just my theory right now, and that can change. But in the previous trailer, we got to see Edelgard, Dimitri, and Claude fighting enemies, but we only knew about certain characters being in the game just from cutscenes. And here we got to see 3 more characters that are playable. We'll specifically see them in action. We finally got to see Hubert and Hilda playable and showing off their skills. But not only that, we finally got to see Dedu, which is a character that we didn't see in the previous trailer and only made speculation on someone's hand on Dimitri. So everyone just assumed that was Dedu, and they were correct. And let's be real here, why would they leave out Dedu? And so far we have 3 axe users, and from what we've seen with Edelgard, Dedu, and Hilda, all 3 seem to play differently from one another, especially Dedu and Edelgard when they're both armored units. And I like how like each of these 3 characters differentiate between each other. Like of course, for example, Edelgard when she uses her axe has a lot of fire involved, and with Hilda's a lot faster with her attacks, and she just is reckless, which makes sense for her character given how she has incredible strength and is really damn fast. But those of course aren't the only playable characters that we see here. We see some characters on the minimaps when it looks like they're commanding them to move, similar to Fire Emblem Warriors, that when you pause the game and you tell the characters to go to a specific area. At one point we see what seems to be an archer, which is more than likely Bernadetta, but the main one I want to mention is when they highlight a character and you see it's Monica. So it is officially confirmed that that red-haired girl that we saw in the previous trailer is indeed Monica. But the thing is that do we know if she's going to be possessed in this game? We knew what happened to her in 3 Houses, where she pretty much became possessed by Crania. But here we just have Monica by herself. And it seems like if you look at her portrait, she seems to look a little bit, I guess, nicer per se. And of course, a lot of people pointed out that she shares the same earring with Edelgard. So will this be a Monica that doesn't get possessed by Crania? I'm very curious to see how that ends up happening, because you know, they had the time to pretty much take her and experiment. In the game, she ends up going missing a year before the events of 3 Houses, and when she comes back is when she is pretty much being controlled by Crania. So I'm very curious to see how Monica ends up being herself and doesn't get possessed by Crania. But we do get to see that she is a mage compared to how she was in 3 Houses, where she was an assassin. But that was mainly because that was Crania, not Monica. And as a mage, we see her weapon, the weapon being called Windcaller's Genesis. And if you look at the way the name is, you start to kind of think how this is pretty similar to Macule. So is Monica gonna have our missing crest? Because that's the only crest user we don't have, the crest of Macule. So only time will tell here if Monica wields a crest or not. But other than that, the trailer starts focusing on a lot of gameplay stuff, showing us that interestingly, weapon durability is back in this game, unlike Fire Emblem Warriors where there was no weapon durability. The reason we say this is because if you look at the combat arts, they cost durability. So I am very curious to see just how these are implemented and how they're going to affect the gameplay. So yeah, gameplay is pretty much what you expect. Once again, hack and slashing enemies. We seem to have adjuntants back here where they act as, you know, support. But the last thing I guess I want to talk about when it comes to gameplay, or at least the mechanic per se, is the base camps. This will be replacing Garrick Mach Monastery as our home base. Depending on which side you choose, the base camp will be different. From seeing the base camp, we have moments where we'll be able to train with allies, which probably improves their relationship. This will probably be also how we increase our support ranks with the characters. We got confirmation that there'll be different classes in the game. And speaking of classes, we got to see what exactly Shez's unique class is going to be. And it's going to be called the Flugel. I hope I said that correctly. And it will be dual wielding. It will be a dual wielding class, as we see, with 2 swords in his hand, just like, you know, holding his relic weapon and looks like a regular sword. Anyways, at one point in the trailer in the base camp, we get to see Lawrence in his like mid time skip design, I guess. I'm not too sure what we're going to call these designs yet. But anyways, we see what seems to be Shez, Claude, and Lawrence working on something, which will probably be similar to how it was in 3 Houses, where we had, I forgot the name of it, but it's basically where you pair up 2 of your units and they work together and increases a certain proficiency of theirs. Like for example, the horse one, where pretty much will increase your horses and all that stuff for cavalries and stuff. That's most likely what this little scene here with Lawrence and Claude is. We also got to see Shez shitting. I really said shitting. We then have a scene here where Shez is sitting down with Dimitri and Mercedes eating food. This is probably going to function similarly to when BYLETH would sit with his classmates. This is pretty much going to be similar to when BYLETH was sitting down with his students, eating food with them in order to increase their energy so that, you know, you can teach them, and of course for supports. And this is also our first look at Mercedes, technically, because there was that like Amazon JP picture that got shown off before this trailer, which showed off how Mercedes was going to look like in the game. But in terms of an official trailer drop, this is our first look at Mercedes, and she looks absolutely amazing. There are some other characters that we need to talk about that we see in this trailer. First off, we see this Claude looking person, or as we can say on Almiron most likely, and I have no idea what to say about this character. This character could possibly be one of Claude's half-brothers, or it could be his cousin. There's even the possibility that it could be his father, but we don't know yet. More than likely, this character is going to be related to Claude, and whether or not they're good or evil is a different story. I think one of the main ones we definitely need to talk about is this part of the trailer where we see two characters duking it out in a battle. Let's get the main one out of the way. The man with the pink hair, that is definitely Holst. For those that played Three Houses, you guys know how many times Hilda will constantly talk about her brother. How he's amazing, he's super strong. This is obviously Holst. Besides the pink hair, which is the most obvious of them all, if you take a look at the cape, it has the crest of Gonriel on it, which is Hilda's crest. So we're finally seeing Holst in this game, but as for who he's fighting, right now it's probably up to interpretation, but a lot of us are agreeing that this is Count Bergliez. If I recall, Count Bergliez is Caspar's father. I don't know if biological, because I've seen some stuff that seems to say that he isn't. But you can tell by the light blue hair that this is going to be Count Bergliez, who's related to Caspar, that we've heard many things about how this man never lost any wars that he's been in, and that he would rather die than lose. I guess the other thing I want to mention before I get to a certain point that was said earlier in the trailer, and is that we have Arvel at the end of the trailer saying how we are partners of destiny. We really don't know much about Arvel. This is a mysterious character, and from the description they gave us, it seems to be that this character is going to be similar to Sothis, where they lost their memory and they have no recollection of who they are. Arvel is most likely, from theories and predictions given, if you look at their shirt, you'll see a symbol that kind of resembles what Kranya had on them. More than likely, this character is probably going to be one of the gods that the Agarthans worship. I wouldn't be surprised that at some point either Arvel remembers who they were, or something crazier happens that ends up making Arvel evil, or Shez evil, where Arvel ends up taking over Shez and everything. But again, we really don't know. They can be showing us something in the trailer, and then all of a sudden something happens that catches us off guard. Of course, the biggest example of this was Age of Calamity. Massive spoilers for Age of Calamity. But in Age of Calamity, they teased how this was going to be the war from 100 years ago that caused the death of the 4 champions. However, when the deaths of the champions came along, due to time travel shenanigans, the 4 future champions saved the 4 past champions, and we get a new story where they confront and see Ganon, preventing the massive calamity that will happen. So I wouldn't be surprised if, like I mentioned earlier on in this video, if a BYLETH from the future or something time travels and tries to prevent disaster in this timeline. Who knows what's going to happen, and we just gotta wait and see. But there's one other part of the trailer that I left out, and it was more in like the earlier portions, where we see what seems to be a beam of fire come out and kill a lot of Lesser Alliance members. This is more than likely the Immaculate One, aka Rhea. And this is definitely interesting, because as we know, Rhea in Three Houses only ever attacked the Adrestian Empire. Never once did she lay a finger on the Kingdom of Fargus or the Lesser Alliance. So here we see what seems to be Rhea attacking Claude's army. I feel like Rhea is definitely going to be a massive threat here, and we even get to see Flayn earlier on in the trailer talk about how she's seen so much war and she just wants this to end. So we did get that little confirmation that we will be seeing church members, but we really don't know much. We really didn't even see Seteth. They haven't even shown Seteth at all, but we saw Flayn. But if Flayn is there, then definitely Seteth is there. But this is my theory right now, if there is no time travel shenanigans. Because as we know, if what we said earlier, how Shez seems to meet the Three Houses students in the woods, and seems like BYLETH doesn't meet them at all, that means that Rhea is going to continue going on not knowing that BYLETH is alive and that her whole plan of reviving Sothis has failed. But then something's going to happen where Rhea is going to find out that this student that she had in her school, which is something I just realized I did not mention, but Shez is going to be a student instead of a professor, by the way. This student that she took in, his whole purpose is to pretty much take down BYLETH. And Rhea's gonna find out, looking at BYLETH, that this is the same person that has the heart of Sothis, so that they'll be able to use her to revive her. So Rhea will probably find out like that, and she's gonna do whatever she can in order to protect BYLETH, obviously for her own selfish needs, even if it means making an enemy out of all 3 kingdoms. So I think we're going to be seeing the 3 houses taking down the church. Whether they beat up Seteth or Flayn, or Seteth and Flayn side with the others, who knows? Honestly, I'm very interested to see the role that Rhea is going to play. And the other one I'm very excited to see, hopefully, because we have not seen anything from them at all, is the Agarthans. We really have not seen anything from them. More than likely, the Agarthans are just sitting down there and they will be very prevalent in the story. But yeah, no, this trailer is honestly amazing. I really love this trailer, and this trailer made me more hyped for 3 Hopes' release than before. The last thing I want to mention in the trailer, just like how you can choose Shez's gender, you can do the same thing with BYLETH. I'm very curious to also see what role BYLETH will have in this game. I don't believe that BYLETH will be the major antagonist, like definitely not. They're going to be the central antagonist for now, but I feel like something's going to happen that'll have BYLETH teaming up with him. I really hope that BYLETH doesn't die in this damn game. But yeah, no, like, what gender are you guys gonna pick for BYLETH and Shez? Me personally, I'm gonna go with all male for now. But yeah, no, that's our trailer. Honestly, a very great trailer. I love this trailer so much, bro. Probably one of my favorite Fire Emblem trailers I've seen so far. But only time will tell how it is in execution. Whether or not the story ends up just being meh, or the story ends up being amazing. But I want to know what you guys have to say about this game. Let me know in the comment section down below on your thoughts on 3 Hopes' new trailer. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. There's been a lot of videos that I have to make as of right now. I still have to work on the podcast that we do. I have to work on a Kingdom Hearts 4 video to follow up on that reaction, and I still got 2 reviews to make for Kirby and Pokemon. I got a lot of stuff to do, also while balancing a job. Anyways, if you made it this far, please leave a like, favorite, share it with others. Go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm personally trying to reach 200 subs before the end of the year. Also, follow my Twitter. The social media links will be down in the description below. And yeah, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you have yourselves a fantastic day or night whenever you're watching this. And take care, everyone.